Is this thing any good for van life? What's my thoughts on that? This is the EcoFlow Delta 2. Full disclosure, EcoFlow has sent me this thing for free to review. So that's kind of part of the arrangement of all this whole thing. I do like the unit. I've been using it for various different things. So far, the thing that I get the most out of using this is using it up in my cousin's cabin, which is an off-grid cabin, and we use this to power the lights at the end of the day in the house, and it's really nice to use for that. Basically, in that setting, we charge it with the solar panels, but it's easier just to plug it into the generator and charge this thing up in 1 hour with the generator running. And then this thing will power the house for 2 days without anything, and then it's just quiet and peaceful up there at the lake. In the case of van life though, it has some limitations. It has some positives as well. I'm gonna go over all of that with you, and then you can decide for yourself if this is something that you're interested in for this kind of thing. EcoFlow is running a sale on this. It's called Prime Day. So they got a bunch of extra discounts going on top of a discount code that I'll provide in the links down below, and that'll get you a discount on top of the Prime Day discounts. I'll share a little bit more about the Prime Day stuff in a minute. For now, we're just gonna dive right into this, and then we can get into all that stuff later on. This part of it is what impresses me quite a bit about this particular thing. So you've got this AC plug right here, which allows you to plug it into a house or a garage, or sometimes you pull up to a campsite and they got a little post sticking out of the ground and you can plug right into that. And then you can get really fancy. This is a product made by Noco. It's a flush mount plug that you can put on the outside of your vehicle. The other end of that thing is just a regular plug. You plug that other plug into your EcoFlow, and then you've got a nice clean system on the outside for charging it up. Then this plug right here, this is where you would plug in two different styles of plugs that it comes with. You've got your regular 12 volt thing, and you could plug that into your dash, and that'll charge this thing up when you're driving around. This is also kind of limited for charging. It does give you something, but it's not a lot of power coming in through this, because these types of plugs right here, they don't allow you to send a lot of power through them. It's just what they are. The other thing you can do too, and this sort of sets the EcoFlow apart in my opinion from a lot of these other ones, is the EcoFlow comes with a cord that I plug right into the orange one right here. And on the other side of it, this one's the one for the car, but on the other side of it, it's got the MC4 connectors. So the MC4 connector is a standard solar panel connector, which is amazing because you can plug this into the appropriate any kind of solar panel that you want. To me, that's pretty slick because you can actually buy and install solar panels and put them on your vehicle and then plug it directly into this EcoFlow. You don't have to go and do this crazy electrical installation on the inside of your van. You're just installing these, and then you're installing that little plug on the outside, and the rest of it you're just plugging into this EcoFlow, and away you go. So from that standpoint of view, I think that's what sets this apart from some of the other units, is just that the plugs come with your standard MC4 connectors, which is really smart on EcoFlow's part to build it like that. There's specs that you need to respect with that, in the sense that this port right here is going to have a 15 amp max and it's 11 to 60 volts. The other thing you can do is you can buy the foldable solar panels that these guys make. This one is the EcoFlow fold up portable 160 watt solar panel. Having the portable ones are an advantage because you can kind of situate them depending on your location and where the sun is, but you got to set them up and you got to take them down and all that kind of thing. It depends on what you feel like you want to do. If you don't want to add anything to the vehicle, I would say that's the way to go, and then you can just set it up as you get to camp and situate it all, and then take them down when you're all done, and then off you go. But if you're going to be trying to do this sort of thing semi-full-time and you want to build out a vehicle, but you don't want to build out this really crazy electrical system, you can still mount solar panels to the roof of your vehicle and have them plugged into this thing. And then this thing here can power pretty much everything in your vehicle. It's got just over 1,000 watts of power available in this unit that can come out of it in the form of USB stuff, all the way up to 100 watts on the output for the USB-C. You can power a laptop with that. Display on the front, that'll give you your readout. On the other side, that's just a little plug so you can add an extra battery that you can plug into this if you need more than 1,000 watts. Let's say you needed 2,000 watts. And I think you can go all the way up to 3 with these side port plugs. The back side, you've got your AC output right here. Anything that you're going to plug in that needs 1,800 watts, this will have no problem running that. Then you've got your 12 volt side of things right here. This, to me, when it comes to van life, this is a limitation to me because there's not a lot coming out of there. My experience living in a van is that I actually use the 12 volt side of things quite a bit in the van, and I don't use this so much. But it's not to say that that would rule this thing out. It's just there's a limitation here that you need to understand, that it does have just one 12 volt output port, and it's a 10 amp port. So it'll power anything that's 10 amps or less. In this case, it'll power a fridge. Right, so fridge goes in there, and there we go. We got power on the fridge. And then this stuff on the side right here, it does come with a cable that'll plug into there. And on the other end, it's got the same male connector, which then you can plug into a set of lights. Now, this is just this LED strip lighting. A lot of them will come with this connector on the end of it. You could plug this into the lights. That could be your lighting for the inside of the van. And that's really what these two ports would allow you to do, is to run a little bit of lighting on the inside of the van and just have it plugged in via a little cable like that. The limitation I would say is, like, if you're up north like I am, up in Canada, and you're doing this full time, at some point you're gonna wanna run a heater, and this is where this port itself is slightly limited. If you're using a diesel heater, that is. They do require some electricity to operate. Typically, they'll need 10 to 15 amps of power. Definitely some of the bigger ones and the cheaper ones draw more energy. If you get some of the more expensive diesel heaters, they tend to use brushless motors, and they require a little bit less current for them to operate full time. Mine is kind of right on the cusp. I couldn't tell you exactly what mine draws, but I remember I was actually using my diesel heater when I first got into this van, and I was powering it off of one of these ports off of a much smaller battery unit than this was, and it worked. But I'm not going to say that this is going to work for any diesel heater. You really do need to do the research if you're to plug it into this port right here. 10 amps, 125, 126 watts for the output power. So just make sure that that works with any diesel heater that you're looking at. Otherwise, if it's just a fridge, no problem, that's great. And then these ones here, you can use those to put up a couple strip lights in the inside of the van. If EcoFlow is to reevaluate their product line and be like, we want to build one of these things that's very specific to van life, my suggestion to you guys, EcoFlow, is to do more on the 12 volt output side of things. Even if you add a distribution block in here with fuses, that you could have a whole bunch of different 12 volt wires going out to all the different things that you would run in a van. Extra lights on different circuits with different switches, that you can have nice locations for your switches, and then just have it all come back to this unit. That would be pretty good. I think the other thing they could do is use this plug right here to somehow tie it into the alternator on the vehicle as well. That way you're just doing away with the whole cigarette lighter, and you're going straight to where all the juice is. It's great that you can plug it into any solar panel. You can charge it up with that shore power plug. Those things are advantages that I like about this thing. The limitation and the thing that I would point out more than anything else is if you're looking into this to do a full-time van life, and let's say you're gonna winter, you know, stay up in Canada or somewhere where you're gonna run a diesel heater, you're gonna need to look into the specifications of that diesel heater and how much power it actually needs for the glow plugs to fire up and for the fans to kick on and work properly. Consider the pros and cons, weigh in on it, check it out. If you guys are interested in one of these, I highly recommend taking advantage of their Prime Day sale that they're doing. That goes from, let me just check my notes here. So that goes from this July 11th to the 12th. So it's a pretty short window. And then you can save up to $900 during the EcoFlow Prime Day promo. Plus, on top of that, you can use the discount code that I'll provide down below in the video, as well as maybe I'll put it across the screen right here. That'll get you an extra percentage off of that. So it's a discount on top of the discount. and then that's valid until July 20th for the discount code that I'll provide in this video. But that's the deals on Prime Day. That is just Prime Day, so if you want to get double discounts, use them both at the same time, and that'll tie into that. Anyway guys, that's it. The EcoFlow Delta 2. Do I think it'd be good for van life? I think it depends. It depends. Let you guys make that decision if you're interested in that. Anyway guys, that's it. I got stuff to do today. I'm gonna go to the shop and deal with some other things. Probably share that in another video. Yeah, that's all I got. That's the EcoFlow Delta 2. See you in the next one. Bye.